なるほど。そういうことなら、私も協力を惜しまないよ、グレイス。
あれ？
さすがです、グレイス様。ご自分の都合と見せかけて、実はアンナ城に成長の機会を与えようという深いご配慮。このピエール、感服いたしました。
あれ？なんで
Ein's old gone. I mean, 𝐜𝐴𝐧𝐬𝐵𝐭 Grace. I love the misunderstandings. I love that 𝐜𝐴𝐧𝐬𝐵𝐭, aka Grace, is the misunderstanding king or queen. I love that he was like, okay, it's time to turn up the villain notch to 11. Let's go. Let's we're evil. And then in trying to be evil, everyone's just like, Queen? My God. Your assistant? Me? Assistant to you? Sign me up, mama. And the prince was like, yes. Yo, I love how just nothing works out as 𝐜𝐴𝐧𝐬𝐵𝐭 imagines. And it's truly because it started early on, right? We've seen it kind of like progress over. And all the good that he's done in trying to be strict, in trying to impart knowledge, in trying to impart a different way to kind of go about things. And because he did that in trying to be a villainess, even when he tries to be a villainess, there's still like some underlying good there. And in this case, the underlying good was that he wanted the pink hair girl. What's her name? Alicia, Alice, something like that. Let me just double check. Alicia or Alice or whatever. All she heard was like, "Oh, you want me to be your assistant?" Like, I didn't know. She was like, I didn't know that, like, you thought of me that. Anna, her name's Anna. It's like, I didn't know you wanted me to be your assistant. So she's over the moon. Like, she thought she was just getting prepared for this thing with her. But instead she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be on the stage with you. Like, we're doing this together. And she was like, do affection level up. And then Virgil had his affection level go up too. And then Pierre, his affection level went through the roof too, because she didn't reprimand this time. She was like, you know what? The prince disappeared. Use this opportunity to go play a little bit. You can't work too hard, because then you're never going to do good work. Go play a little bit. He's like, oh my God, I got to go play. You know what I mean? She just, oh my God, just so good. So I loved all of that. That really made the episode for me this week. I also really liked the stuff that happened with Grace's duality of her dragon, water and fire and stuff. And I like seeing the fact that it was 𝐜𝐴𝐧𝐬𝐵𝐭's daughter who was choosing when to do that. And the reason it wasn't working is because she had stepped away to get a delivery package and stuff, and she left the game on autoplay. So I like seeing how they're affecting his life through the game. I thought that was pretty good. Now, I will tell you, I'm not the biggest fan of that portion. I know some may like it. We've talked in the comments already. I'm not the biggest fan of, the daughter and the mother are playing the 𝐜𝐴𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐭 game, and, time is relative, is not actually passing the same way, and if they beat the game, he might come. I'm not the biggest fan of the real world stuff. I really love the fact of, like, this 50-plus-year-old accountant got, beamed into this other world as Grace. I love that. The real world stuff, though, it's fine. I could do without, but, it's not my favorite part. And one of the other anime that some folks had mentioned in the comments before was Isekai 𝐒𝐻𝐽𝐻𝐸, basically like the uncle Isekai. And that was different because the uncle's already back in our world, and the whole show is him retelling what happened in that world, as opposed to this one is Ken in that world. So it's a little different of the way that they approached it. And maybe if they approached it like the 𝐻𝐽𝐻𝐸 anime, I wouldn't have too much of a problem with the real world stuff. Again, I don't have a big problem. It's just like, if I were to, balance, if I were to tell you, like, okay, this is my favorite thing, it just wouldn't be my favorite thing. Okay, I'm going to get off of that now. So he has the dragon stuff that happens, the water and the fire and stuff. And he finally decides to tell the principal, hey, because the principal's like, yo, what the hell happened? And he's like, you know what? Here's what happened is I had a different soul embody me, and it changed me. Now I have two souls. And he dumps out his heart, and then the principal goes like, oh, you mean you matured. I love that you matured. Your parents said you're always diligent, you're a hard worker, and blah, 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 blah. They totally don't get it. And because, originally when she's, when Grace is putting out her heart, Virgil's like, you know what? I did notice a change. I did see that. But then the principal is like, oh, well, because of your maturity and stuff, he puts it out there of like, oh, yeah, this is why. And suddenly Anna's like, oh, my God, she's a genius. And Virgil's like, oh, my God, yes, that must be what it is. Like, she grew up. She sees the world different now. She's of two souls becoming one. And I thought that was just so silly, too. So a few other things happened this episode, but those are kind of the main things I wanted to highlight. And I laughed a lot. I thought it was a really funny episode. I think I loved every part of the episode. I think those were my favorite parts. Was the end when she's trying to be a villain and it just didn't work out. Those are probably my favorite scenes overall, but especially this episode. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comments below. As always, my friends, I'll see you guys next week for episode number 6 of Bureaucrat to Villainess. All right, my friends, I'll see you then. Peace.